Welcome back to ciLiving. Meteorologist Adam Sherwinski just got back from a week-long cruise in Alaska, and having been a cruise director in Alaska for 4 months last year, I really want to talk all about your trip, so we will do that in just a few minutes. But first, we have an experiment. So Adam, today I brought in an energy stick, and I want you to explain the science behind how completing the circuit and the energy works. So I know the rules. I have to put on my goggles.
Yeah, this one I think you can get away with not having your goggles. I think. This is kind of a toy, right, that you can buy?
I think so. So I know that if I do this, it makes the same noise as the ghost.
Sounds exactly like the ghost. I thought they were back in here. I was like, where'd they go?
But also, it says that if you do this,
look at that.
It makes a circuit, and you can make an even longer chain. Hey, Tyler.
Tyler, yeah.
We're going to have our camera person extraordinaire come and help us out. So Tyler, you take Adam's hand.
Ew.
And now we've made a whole circuit.
Whoa.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, Adam. So how and why? What is it doing? Why does that work?
The good thing is this is very safe. I mean, I think this is a kid's toy, but it's something that the kids can play with at home, and they're going to go, whoa, why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? And then they're going to have their friends. It's like, wait, do the thing. And then they're going to get all excited, and they're going to go, whoa, it's so cool. But it's a safe way of kind of showing off a circuit. And what it is just basically the transfer of electrons from me, and since humans are kind of moist, we've got a lot of water inside of us, we can transfer those electrons all the way around through the circuit, and that just shows that we're transferring back and forth. Again, an open circuit would be me and Jaclyn. Okay, it's not really transferring, but when we close the circuit, it works. So that's closing the circuit, and that's how we make it work. Again, it's not really going to do anything to you. I think it's kind of interesting that it shows that all that noise, and probably shouldn't do it with one person, but you can, I guess. But it's pretty safe. So.
Well, and you know what inspired this is because I was seeing, I'm going to take these off. I was seeing a lot of those videos online where people were like, take 3 batteries, put them in a container of cottage cheese, and then magically the light bulb in the center lights up. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. And sure enough, that's a hoax.
Yeah. Or like with the potato. I mean, it works with the potato, but it, everyone did that for like a science experiment.
Is it because of the water content in the potato?
I'm not sure, because we never really did that in school. Again, circuits are not my forte. I'm more of the natural sciences than the the technical stuff.
Right.
But I will say that the whole closed circuit idea is the whole point is to say, hey, this shows off a closed circuit. And what's cool with this too is that you probably can get a whole bunch of people to do a whole chain and then close it, open it and close it. And I think that's just really cool to show that there is no limit on how many people you can do it with.
Right, and I think it's one of those things that you can kind of see where the link breaks. Maybe you could make a game of it if you had this in a classroom, have everybody do it and have one person let go, assign people to do it and see if they can guess.
Like a game of telephone.
Right, see if you can guess where the circuit has broken.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, who did it? Timmy? I'm looking at you. Timmy? There you go, he
exactly.
did it. Timmy did it. So, pretty cool toy. I think pretty useful was Energy Stick, Steve Spangler's.
Yeah. And I think you can do it also if you have a battery and some wires. You can, like a little watch battery and 2 wires, you can make a little circuit, or you can,
just be careful when you do.
This is the easy button.
Yeah, and with this, obviously, it's all closed container and everything, but do be careful with circuits because you have that electricity you're playing with, and that can be a little shocking to the system at the very least here. So.
But I feel like you get a drummer for that one.
Right.
All right, Adam. Well, thank you for the lesson in electricity, and now I want to hear all about Alaska.
Oh, yeah.
How was your trip?
So Jaclyn was probably the one person I talked to the most from the station because she's a former cruise director, and
you were on a sister ship.
Sister ship, yes.
Sapphire,
she was on the Ruby. I was on the Sapphire, and so we did the routes though, and I knew what town. She knew what towns I was going to and what towns I was getting ready to do. So I mentioned Skagway, Ketchikan, Juneau.
And I made him a list of all the places to go.
She made a long list too. And so, my mom already had planned out the vacation. We went as a family, as our family vacation. We haven't done one in probably years, I think since high school.
That's cool.
So it was nice to kind of get that out. But she already had some plans, and then I just kind of added a few things that Jaclyn threw. And they're like, hey, we should stop here. Hey, we should do this.
And you met some fans on the ship. Right?
Yeah, we did. Those are some WCIA viewers. That's in Glacier Bay National Park. It was a day on the ship, and it was really nice out about too is Mom and I, you can see the binoculars right there, we're looking for wildlife. Mom and I saw whales and sea otters earlier today. I wanted to see if I could find a bear or if I could find some goats. Did not see any of those that day, but we did see whales. And
these people just were like, hey, we know you.
So we were looking out the railing, and my mom and I were just kind of staying out there. We're just like looking, and I could hear them, and they're like, oh, I think that's the weather guy. Yeah, that's why he looks so familiar. And one of the gals goes, oh, I think you can hear us. Sorry, it's so rude. I'm like, no, in fact, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to take a selfie with you guys. Now, what are those? You're probably thinking.
Those are whales.
Those are whales.
I recognize those.
Those are whales. Those are humpback whales. And that was before we kind of learned how to watch for whales. I got to say, I think I'm a better whale watcher than I am a storm chaser at this point now. I've had way more success with whales.
Did they tell you to follow the seagulls if there's a
I learned that. I figured that out because I was like, there's a bunch of seagulls. I bet you something's going on over there. And then sure enough.
They come hunt with the whales.
That was the same day we were at Glacier Bay. So we weren't really like trained up on how to whale watch. And that wasn't our whale watching day. But you'll find them on the edge of the ship. And why am I seeing all these whales? Because that's where they go to eat for the summer. Humpbacks go all the way up into the Pacific Northwest, nice cool waters, eat the krill, and then they go down to Hawaii. What a vacation, right? You go to Hawaii and Alaska all the same year.
Yeah.
But they don't eat anything down in Hawaii. That's where they go and mate, and that's where they give birth. So I think there was a baby in that group too. So pretty cool stuff. And we've got more critters we saw there.
Saw other animals.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of other animals. I mean, we saw sea lions right there. We had sea otters too there at Glacier Bay. That is Big Earl. He is the sea lion king of Juneau, Alaska at Ayuk Bay. And I will say that was the same day we were going whale watching. So we were just, you know what, why not? We're just going to stop all the way over there and check out Big Earl. And they love those buoys.
They do. They're always there.
Those buoys. And I will say Big Earl was not putting up with anything. There was a couple other sea lions trying to horn in on that spot, and he said, nope, absolutely not. And so we got pretty close to him too. You could see the scars and where they've been biting at each other and getting after each other. They're big water puppies, but they'll get after it, that's for sure. And they just love those buoys. I mean, the bell, you could hear them as they're moving their feet. The bell, bing, bing,
bing, bing,
bing, as they're moving their tail and moving their flippers and kind of nosing a little bit. They're goofballs.
And I know you did see your bear. You also went on a puppy excursion.
I did go on a puppy excursion. We went to the Alaska X over there where they train for the Iditarod, and that's one of the puppy dogs right there. They're training up there right now, which is really cool, up in the mountains near Skagway. This is the spot near Skagway, up there by Dye, I forgot how to say it, but it's a ghost town. And what's really cool about this is that they're up in the mountains and they're training. There's these big kind of contraptions that they put us on, and they just let the dogs go. I've got great video of them just taking off, and they move, they boogie. And this is a couple tons of weight. So you're probably thinking, well, what are they doing with these dogs? Those sleds for the Iditarod can't be built like that. They're not. They're putting on muscle. They're kind of weightlifting right now. And then when they get to the winter, they're going to slim down and get the endurance. So they're going to be big and ready for the Iditarod later on this winter, which I think is pretty cool.
And those dogs love to run.
They love it.
You cannot keep them from the running.
You're probably thinking they're like, oh, they probably hated that. They were excited to go. In fact, when we stopped, they'd go, what are you doing?
Exactly.
Keep going.
Like,
we want to keep going.
Let's keep riding. Yeah.
And they eat so many calories, like thousands of, more than you could eat in a day is what they're eating in a day just to train for it. And then this was, I think, in Glacier Bay. I'm going to take a look at this one.
Was it the calving? Did you see?
I did see calving. Not on this glacier.
When the ice falls into the ocean.
It wasn't a lot. It was a small chunk, but it was cool to see. I don't think it was with this glacier specifically. I don't remember because we saw so many glaciers out there. That's the thing. You're probably thinking, well, glaciers. I thought it was just giant icebergs. No, icebergs come from glaciers. I mean, that's the cool thing. You can see the blue in there, some of the sediment, the brown color there, and you're probably thinking this thing is moving so slow. It does move pretty slow. Some of them move pretty quick though, and behind that's going to leave behind all that sediment, and eventually there's going to be probably a forest put in there hundreds of years from now. But it's a really cool, slow process. Yeah,
and it's so peaceful out there, and you see the otters and stuff like that. It is just gorgeous.
Yeah, that's Mendenhall Glacier. I've told people at work today, I said, pictures don't do it justice, even though they're gorgeous pictures, and words can't describe how much of an adventure that was to go through Southeast Alaska. And we stopped in Vancouver, and got some Tim Hortons
from Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons.
Basically, they're donut holes.
It's basically Dunkin', but
Tim Hortons version.
But, Canada.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, Adam. Thank you for the electricity lesson.
Thank you for the tips.
Thank you for sharing your trip. Yeah,
Thanks for the tips getting through what was it, that fried dough place there in Skagway. Great opportunity.
Yeah, fry bread.
Fry bread. So good. So good. Awesome. Go to Alaska.
Well, if you have any questions for Adam, want to know more about his trip, have weather questions, have experiment questions, you can email him at asherwinski@wcia.com, or you can find both of us on social media.